And so the beauty behind what the Most High has prepared for those that love Him is not comparable into what we know to be in today's time. So I want to begin by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rekah HaKadosh, and double honor to the other apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, and salutations to the Most High's man in the four corners of the earth that is pushing His word in sincerity and truth. And shalom to the sisters that support and subscribe wholeheartedly to the message of deliverance and salvation of Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai. This is your brother Ben for GMS Jackson, Mississippi, with an intrinsic topic going into how I have not seen nor ear heard what the Most High has prepared for those that wait for Him. So those that have the love of the Lord, the true, sincere love of Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, are awaiting a kingdom that is going to be established for the Most High's only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. And within that kingdom, we're going to have King David to rule over us as a nation of people. Also within that kingdom, you will have the elect members, the 144,000 that were saved and redeemed and reserved from the destruction of Babylon the Great, who are going to be more so like the first fruits in the kingdom of heaven, with a different status quo, with a different level of confidence, with a different level of gratification, because we understand the scripture states that there shall be a level of shame upon the heads of the 2/3 in the kingdom of heaven. But the hopeful elect out there are striving for this level of mastery in serving Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai wholeheartedly, in sincerity and in truth. Because there is no comparison to what the Most High has prepared in His kingdom of glory. In his kingdom and His stature, all of the greatness of the Most High is going to be known. His omnipotency is going to be shown every single day. And finally, we'll be able to see those streets paved with gold. We'll be able to see, your building, your house, your structures built up with the best cedars of Lebanon, the best gopher wood, the best stones, the best gems. You'll be decked out with the best jewels, because as a people, it's already inside of us. And what people is that? The 12 tribes, also known as the lost sheep of the house of Israel in these last days, the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Latinos, and Native American Indians. They make up that generation beginning from Abraham to Isaac to Jacob. And yes, some imposters have come in to steal our identity, but the Most High has a great judgment prepared for them, because not only did they persecute us as a people, they placed us into captivity, and then they took upon our identity in being the Most High's chosen people that He chose unto Himself. But as great as our power is, as good as Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai is, He is allowing them to be exposed. And they're being exposed for wickedness. They're not being exposed for righteousness. So who's being exposed for righteousness throughout the entire planet Earth? The hopeful elect members out there that consist of the 12 tribes, the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Latinos, and Native American Indians. And not every last one of them, not a 100% ratio of them, but a small remnant, which is of the hopeful elect. And that remnant, the Most High has prepared for Himself. He has them individualized and personally customized to be a vessel for salvation and not a vessel for destruction. But the endurance part is something that has to take place. But you have to endure, the hopeful elect has to endure knowing what is for to come. And that is a great kingdom of authority, dominion, and reigning over the Gentiles. Because these Ashkenazi false so-called people of the Most High, the small hats, the small tops, in their mind, they're going to have complete dominion over the inhabitants of the earth. Even their so-called Edomite kind, even so-called Christians and believers. They look at all of these particular individuals as goyim, which is cattle, gawayim. They look at them as nothing. And they bow down to Baal, they bow down to Molech, they bow down and worship Baphomet. They sacrifice children, they steal children, they eat children, they eat people, they drink blood. These people are the epitome of a demon in human form. But as I stated, the Most High is doing all of the expose concerning them. And then ultimately, he's going to bring them down, and then they're going to be placed in their rightful seat, their rightful area, which is what? Which is captivity. Underneath the Israelite man, underneath the Israelite woman, serving hardcore bondage. Right? He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. And we know the faith and the patience of the saints, because who are the saints? The saints are the Most High. You read that in the book of Psalm. The saints are the people of the Most High power. And they're going to take these particular nations captive, whose captives we were. And not by our own strength, not by our own might, but the Most High is going to bring them down through their pride and through their own deception, and even through their own stumbling blocks that they place before us as a people continuously. They're going to fall into their own traps and their own snares, in which they are falling into those now. But that great judgment of them being burnt up here in Babylon the Great, burnt up in this Third World War, and all these things are spiritual, because these small hats who have the entire globe in their hands, they're always on both sides of the playing field. And they're the orchestrator of all of the negatives and the positives that happen on planet Earth. Why? Because the Spirit of the Lord is dealing with them as a vessel of wrath fitted for destruction. But they believe that they have the particular power, strength, and might as a God on earth, to where they're making these things happen, but they're no more than puppets. And they're being used by the Most High to fulfill his will. But yeah, they have been deceived into believing that they're the ones that control. They're the ones that are initiating this so-called NWO. They're the ones who have the power to keep the 12 tribes in captivity. They're the ones who can orchestrate war and peace, who can orchestrate life and death. In the same way that the Most High hardened Pharaoh's heart, he's hardened these heathens' heart in today's time. He's hardened their heart to the point to where they're living in delusion. A lot of delusionary is happening in their minds, because the spiritual demon Satan has free range with them. And yep, they do have the goods of this earth. They have the fatness of this earth. They have the weaponry of this earth. They have the islands, the countries, the continents, the businesses, the goods, the money, the whole nine of this earth. But yet they don't have the Spirit of the Lord. But yet they don't have the protection from on high. But yet they aren't even chosen or considered to be anything unto the Most High power, outside of a whooping stick for the nation of Israel. And yes, the Most High did place a whooping on us as a nation of people due to our transgressions. Everything that he said don't do, we went ahead and did it. And everything that he was stating to do, we decided to do a little bit of it, but more so of the opposite. And yet here we are, as the scripture states, in this very day, in our captivity, where we were sold as bondmen and bondswomen, as well as our children. And you can't get around us being that people with that yoke of iron upon our necks, around our necks. Because what other nation of people served a level of captivity in such fashion that was not only historically documented in the US of A, but also spoken of and prophesied in the Holy Scriptures, and how the Most High would lead us into captivity. and give us unto our enemy, give us over unto our oppressor. But yet, the Most High is going to redeem us. And once he redeems us, everything that we know to be is going to be as a bad dream. You know, all of the persecution, all of the adversities, all of the failures, the repetitive losses, all of that is going to be no more. Why? Because the Most High is going to turn back our captivity. So once he reverses everything, then we'll be set up and established in our rightful authority, in our rightful seat, as the Most High is going to reverse us from being the tail to making us the head, you know, as we were created to be, you know, because our forefather Abraham, he was already promised to be a father of many nations. So he was going to be a father of many people, as the sands of the sea, innumerable and incapable of being counted or considered in a numerical value. You know, but that which is to come is what we have forward to look forward to. You know, and the Most High is going to give it unto us as a nation of people, ultimately, you know, but the first fruits are going to start with the elect, with them not receiving death, but with them rather receiving salvation. When the chariots come, they shall be beamed up and redeemed and saved from the destruction and saved from the calamities. So I pray that this was edifying, this quick hit in transit. I want to end off by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Kakadash. Until next time, it's your brother Banyunyan. I say Shalom.